$17,619. That is what one child in an American public school costs for 1 year. Not the buildings and not the buses and not the debt on the buildings, the running of the thing, the teachers and the books and the heat and the wages divided by the number of children sitting in the chairs. $17,619 for one child for 1 year. That figure came out of the Census Bureau this past spring for the school year that finished in 2024, and it is the most it has ever been in the whole time anybody has been counting. Hold it a second longer, because a number that size goes past a man without stopping. 2 years before that, it was $15,591, so it has moved a good deal in a short while. Across the country, that running cost came to $842 billion, and that is better than 8 of every $10 spent on schooling in America. If you own a house, some part of that came out of your pocket this year, whether you have a child in a chair or not, and I expect you did not see it broken out anywhere in a way you could read. The school at the end of our road does not take $1 of it, not $1. Let me tell you what is in that school, and I am going to give it to you plain and then say nothing for a while, because it is the sort of thing a man needs a minute with. 1 room, somewhere between 5 and 20 and 5 and 30 children in that room, and 1 teacher for the whole lot of them. 1 woman teaching all 8 grades at the same time, in the same room, in the same hour. When the little ones are doing their letters, the big ones are doing their sums at the same table, and she is going up and down the rows the whole morning. And the teacher, most often, is a girl of 19 or 20. She stopped at the 8th grade herself, the same as the children in front of her will. She has no college, no certificate, no training of the kind you would recognize. What she has is a few teachers' meetings across the year where the young women who do this work sit down together and go over what is going wrong in their rooms, and a magazine called the Blackboard Bulletin, which the teachers write for one another and pass around. That is the whole of her preparation. I am not softening that, and I am not going to. There is a reason it is nearly always a young woman, and it is a plain one. Teaching here is work you do before you marry. A girl finishes her own 8th grade at 14, works at home for a few years, and somewhere around 18 or 19, the school board asks her, and she does it until she marries and has a house of her own to run. Then the next one comes. A few stay at it for a lifetime, and there are teachers in this county who have taught the mothers of the children now sitting in front of them. But the ordinary case is a young woman doing an important job for a short season of her life. And how she gets picked would look strangest of all on paper. There are no credentials to look at, so the board looks at 2 things. Can she hold a room? That is asked of people who have watched her with children. And is she the sort of person we want 30 of our children copying 6 hours a day for 4 years? Here, the second question weighs at least as much as the first, and you can decide for yourself what you think of that. My name is Gideon Riehl. I am 65. I have farmed the same ground in Lancaster County the whole of my life, and I went to a school exactly like the one I have just described, in a room about 20 feet across with a stove in the middle of it. So did my wife, so did all 7 of our children, and so do 4 of our grandchildren this very week, because school started here the same week it started for you. I have been on the school board of that little building. I have carried the coal in, and I have put a new sill under the north wall, and I know to the dollar what the teacher is paid, because I have helped count it out. 2 things are coming that you should stay for. The first is a question you are already turning over, and I am going to take it away from you in about a minute, because it is the wrong question, and it has swallowed every conversation anybody has ever had about this. The second is the price of what I am describing, and it is real and it is heavy, and I would rather you heard it from me than worked it out afterwards and felt sold to. That block is near the end, and I have not cut it short. So here is the question I am taking off you. You want to know whether the children in that room learn as much as the children in yours. Everybody wants to know that. And I am not going to tell you, because I cannot prove it either way, and neither can anybody else who is honest about it. There are men at universities who have written long papers arguing it both directions, and I have read some of them, and they cancel out. There is one in a law review out of Chicago that asks straight out whether our one-room schools make the grade, and it is not a friendly paper, and I would not tell you to skip it. I would rather you read the hard one than take a warm feeling from me. So set it down. This is not a video about whose children learn more. It is a video about who pays, and that turns out to be a far stranger story. And I think the reason nobody asks the paying question is that school talk in this country is arranged around the arguing. Everybody has a view on what should be taught and how, and there is a great deal of heat in it, and the heat fills the whole room. Underneath all of that, there is a plainer question that hardly ever gets asked out loud. Who put the money in? Who decided how it was spent? And who had to sit in the chair? 3 different people in most of this country. 3 different people who may never have met. Here's who pays for our school. The families whose children are in that room. That is the whole list. They put the building up in the first place with their own hands on a Saturday. They buy the coal for the stove and the books for the shelf and the chalk and the paper. They pay the teacher's wage out of their own pockets, assessed by the family, and the assessment is worked out at a meeting where every father who has a child in that room sits down and the sum is set. There is no state money in it, no county money, no program, no grant, no bond issue, and no levy. Not a dollar from any government anywhere. And I can tell you what that money actually goes on because I have helped count it. Her wage, which is the largest piece by a long way and is still a good deal less than you are imagining. Coal for the stove through the winter, chalk and paper and pencils. Readers replaced a set at a time as a set wears out. Kerosene for the dark mornings in January. A stovepipe when the old one goes. The outhouse, the well, whatever the roof wants. There is no bus because they walk, and no cafeteria because they carry their dinner in a pail. And there is no administration at all. Nobody in an office somewhere deciding things about a school he has never stood inside. The board is 3 fathers who meet in somebody's kitchen. And it is not a handout arrangement either, in case you are picturing something charitable. It is a bill. A family with 4 children in that room pays more than a family with 1, and everybody knows what everybody pays because it was worked out in a room with the doors open. If the roof wants doing, the fathers meet, and the roof gets done, and the cost goes round. If she needs a new set of readers, that is discussed the same way. Nobody applies to anybody for anything. Now, here is the part that most folks have never once been told, and it is the reason I wanted to make this. We pay the property tax the same as you do, in full, on every acre and every building. And the property tax is the main thing that pays for your school, the one my children never set foot in. So this settlement is holding up 2 school systems and using exactly one of them. That is not a complaint, and I want that understood. Nobody made us build our own school. We wanted it. But it is the arithmetic, and I thought a man ought to have it in front of him. And while I am on the subject of taxes, I am going to be straight with you about the whole of it, because I know what the comments will say otherwise. We are not paying every tax you pay. Our people are exempt from Social Security and from Medicare. That is done by filing a form, and it has been settled in the law for a long while. But the exemption cuts both ways, and this is the half that never gets quoted. We take nothing out of either one. No check at 65, no benefits, no hospital coverage, ever. We look after our own old people, at home, on our own money. So when somebody tells you the Amish do not pay taxes, that is wrong. And when somebody tells you we pay all the same ones, that is wrong too. Now you have got it accurately, which is more than most people do. The stopping at the 8th grade is the other thing everybody wonders about, and it is not poverty, and it is not stubbornness either. It went all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States. Wisconsin against Yoder, decided the 15th of May, 1972. The state of Wisconsin had been fining Amish fathers for keeping their children out of the high school, and it went up, and 9 judges came down on the side of the community. They held that making our children attend past the 8th grade was not something the state could compel, given what our life is and what our faith asks. So a boy walking out of that room at 14 is not slipping through a crack. It is a right written down with a date on it, and you can go and read the whole of it yourself. 406 United States Reports, page 205. And I want to be careful about what that case did and did not settle, because people stretch it. The court did not hand out a general permission for anybody to stop schooling their children when they feel like it. What weighed with those judges was that this was a religious community 300 years old, that its way of life and its schooling could not be pulled apart, and that what came after the 8th grade here was a real training. They were careful to say the ruling was a narrow one. A man cannot pick that case up and carry it into his own kitchen. It fits us, and it was written to fit us, and it took the highest court in the country to say so, which ought to tell you how far outside the ordinary this arrangement sits. And the court did not just say we could stop. It said something about what comes after, which is the part people leave out. What follows the 8th grade here is a training. A boy goes into a shop or onto a farm or a crew alongside men doing the work, and he learns a trade by doing it for years. A girl learns the running of a house and a garden and a kitchen at a scale you would not believe until you had seen a wedding here. That is not idleness after 14. It is a different school with no walls on it, and it lasts until he is a man. Let me go back into the room, because how it works is genuinely peculiar, and I have never seen it explained anywhere. 8 grades at once sounds like chaos, and it is not. What actually happens is that the little ones spend all day overhearing the big ones. A 6-year-old sits through the 4th grade reading lesson 4 times a week for a year, whether he means to or not, and a good deal of it lands. And it runs the other way too. The big ones are put to work teaching the little ones, and every teacher will tell you the fastest way to learn a thing properly is to have to explain it to somebody smaller than you. The day itself is simple enough. She rings a bell in the yard. There is a stove, and somebody's father brings the coal. There is a water bucket and a dipper. The children walk, all of them, because the school was built where it is precisely so that they could. The district decides it wants a school, and the district is a size a child can cross on foot in the weather we get here. When the district grows too big for that, it splits, and a new school goes up. The building is sized to the walk, and I have never heard anybody say it out loud before, but that one decision arranges everything else. Now the price, and it is a real price, and I will not have anybody walking away from this thinking otherwise. There is no laboratory in that room. There is no foreign language taught in it. There is no sport, no band, no library beyond one shelf, no counselor, and nothing at all that costs money to run. There is no road to a college out of that room either, and I want to be careful and exact about this one, because it is the heaviest thing I will say. That road is closed by a decision made for a child at 14, made by his parents and his church, in good faith, and made before he is old enough to have any say in it at all. The state has nothing to do with it, and neither does the school. That is what it is. A boy who at 19 finds he wanted to be a doctor is going to find that the door was shut 5 years ago by people who love him. And there is this. If a child in that room has a gift for something our life has no use for, mathematics past what a builder needs, or music beyond singing or drawing or medicine, there is nowhere here for that gift to go. Nobody takes it from him out of malice. There is simply no channel. Some of them leave over it, and some of them stay and put it away, and I have watched both happen to people I love. And then there is the teacher. I told you she is 19 and has nothing past the 8th grade herself, and I meant it, and I am not going to dress it up now. She is teaching arithmetic. She learned 6 years ago from a woman not much older than she is. That is the arrangement. It works better than you would expect, and it is exactly as thin as it sounds, both at once, and any man who tells you only one of those two things is selling you something. The Supreme Court had to specifically permit all of this, and I think that fact is worth sitting with rather than skipping past. It needed 9 judges to make it lawful, because measured by every ordinary yardstick this country uses, it looks like precisely what it looks like. I am not asking you to admire it. I am telling you it exists, that it is legal, that it is paid for by the people who use it, and what it costs the people who use it. There is one thing I will claim for it, and only one. In that room, there is a grown woman who knows every one of those 30 children by name. She knows their mothers. She knows which one has a sick grandfather at home this week and which one has been up since 4 with the milking, and she will see the whole lot of them at church on Sunday and again next Sunday and at their weddings. She is not going anywhere, and neither are they. Whatever else is thin about that arrangement, that part is not thin. I should say as well that I am telling you about this settlement and that the picture is less tidy than any video is going to make it. Schools are run differently from place to place, and there are Amish families who send their children to the public school. Not a handful either, in some settlements. Somebody at a university in Ohio went and asked those parents why, and the answers were ordinary. The distance, a child who needed something the one room could not give him. A district where the public school suited well enough. Nobody put them out of the church for it. When I say we, I mean this road and these fields. So step back and look at the whole of it. What does $17,619 actually buy? It is not knowledge. You cannot buy that by the head at any price, and every parent in America already suspects as much. What it buys is a system, a very large, very careful, very well-meaning system in which one person pays, a second person decides how it is spent, and a third person, a child, sits in the chair and receives whatever comes down. Those three are almost never in the same room. They are usually not in the same town. In that school at the end of my road, all three are the same people. The man who pays is the man who decides is the father of the child in the chair, and he will be sitting behind that child at the Christmas program in December, looking at what his money bought. That is the whole of the difference. Not better and not worse. Closer. Everything I have described to you today, the good of it and the cost of it, comes out of that one fact, and so does the price the child pays, because when the deciding is that close, there is nobody further away to appeal to. Now, I have nothing for you to do, and I mean that. I am not telling you what to do with your children. I have never taught in your kind of school. I would not know how, and a man giving that sort of advice from a farm in Pennsylvania ought to be ignored. But there are 4 things you could go and look at this week, and looking is free. First, find out what your own district spends per child. The number is published, and it is usually easier to find than you expect. Second, find out what portion of your property tax bill goes to the school, because it is printed on there, and most folks have never once looked. Third, ask yourself when you last had a say in how any of that was spent, and what that saying consisted of. And fourth, go and find out how far your child's school is from your door, and whether he could walk it. Because here is the sentence I would have you carry out of here, and it has nothing to do with being Amish. The further apart the man who pays, the man who decides, and the child in the chair are allowed to drift, the more everything costs, and the less anybody feels they own it. That is not an argument for our way. Our way has a price I would not wish on you. It is only an observation about distance, and it is the same observation I would make about a shop, or a farm, or a road. Now do something for me in the comments, because I read them, and my grandson reads out the ones I miss. Go and look up what your own school district spends per pupil, and put that one number below with the state you are in beside it. Nothing else. The national figure is 17,619, and I have a notion that the spread underneath that average is going to be far wider than anybody watching this expects. And I would like us all to see it laid out in one place. One more thing before I go. I told you that a boy walks out of that room at 14. I did not tell you what happens to him next, and it is the part of our life that is least understood and, to my mind, the most interesting. From 14 until he marries, that boy is learning a trade beside a man who does it. No fees, no debt, no classroom, and at the end of it, he can build something you would pay a great deal of money for. Next time, I will take you through those 7 years and show you exactly how a 14-year-old with an 8th grade education ends up owning a shop at 22. Whatever you think of any of it, go and look at what your own district spends. That is all I have got for you today.